Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Fong. Thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. I spend way too much time out here in this lab because I got a whole bunch of stuff I got to try to put together to give to you. So let's do what we do. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message, message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. I got all the tools that you'll need to know thyself. Your job is to tune in, get them, and use them so you can know thyself. So I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows, excuse me, a person who knows not, excuse me, you know the deal, and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. That's what I do. Enlighten you. Wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons they reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And always to my yacht, be true. That's you. All right. We just got finished. I did a lesson with you on bringing to the realm of light, taking you through the gods and different areas. Now I'm gonna break down what they call the main Neteru and their temples. I'm about to take you to the temples of the Neteru. And you see here, you see they got the flags. You see the flags of that Amen Ra Ptah. Okay, those are three different areas we're gonna go to. And you see the one flag with Nat, that's not that's the female god. And you see all them connected to one thing. You see, we're gonna go through. I want to go through. That's a lesson right here in itself. I want to just get you started on where we're going with this. I'm gonna break down Amen, Ra, and Ptah's concepts. All right. So now let's go. The sages of Kemet instituted a system. That's what a system. Watch this, by which the teachings of spirituality were espoused through a special kind of temple organization. Not a belief system, a special kind of temple organization. Why? So the major divinities that we're going to talk about were assigned to a particular city, and that divinity what became the patron of the city. See where I'm going with this? Also, the priest and the priestess, again, male and female, of that temple were what in charge of seeing to the welfare of the people in that district, community. See, we're going this has been doing a long time. The church should take care of the community. My church is doing that. That's we got a picnic next week. So okay, but the concept is the people in that district, as well as what maintain the traditions and the disciplines. Right there, discipline is important for a society to function as a society. Watch this. The traditions and the disciplines and of the traditions based on the particular divinity being worshipped in that area. We're going to start out with Ra. Okay, that's Anunian. So the original concept of Neter became elaborated through the theologies, again, theologies of the various traditions and variations of what said teachings that emerged that express nuances of variation in perspective on about to get good. I got some pictures to show you. The teachings and what? So that it would suit the needs of varying kinds of personalities in the people of different locales. And I just showed you the picture. The diagram showed that the primary of main deities are donated by the Neteru symbol, which is the flag. The house structure represents the temple for that particular divinity. The interconnections with the other temples are based on Western's original correlative theological statements, which were espoused by the temples that linked them with the other divinities. So this means that the divinities should be viewed not as separate entities or divinities operating independently or willy-nilly, no, but rather a complementary and correlated entities and divinities like family members who are in the same business together in essence to what? Enlightenment of the society, albeit through what? Variations in different forms of worship, name and form, etc. This is why I understand in religion you got different denominations, so it's always been that way. I don't have a problem with that. But as long as you're getting the job done. And ultimately, all the divinities are referred to as Neteru, and they all are said to be emanations from the ultimate and supreme being. Thus, hear me good, the teachings from any of the temples. The teachings from any of the temples leads to understanding the others, and these lead back to the source, the highest divinity, and with this attainment comes spiritual enlightenment as a group of people, aka the Great Awakening. As a group of people, not a few, everybody was on board with the concept. Watch this. Now, the same supreme being, Neter, one, was seen as the winged, all-encompassing, transcendental divinity, the spirit, which is in the early history, know what they called him? Haru. Okay? The physical universe in which Haru lives is called Het Haru, House of Haru, or the House of Haru. Excuse me. The divinity. This divinity is also the noon or primeval substratum from which all matter is composed, and from this mass are composed the various divinities and the material universe altogether. Neter is actually androgynous, and Haru is just the spirit, and also related to what? The male aspect of the androgyny. Haru gives rise to the solar principle, and this is seen in both what? The male and the female divinities. Watch this. They did everything in pairs. Okay? You don't see the man without a woman. That's how it was. That's what they represent, fair and equal. And woman was revered and respected, not mistreated and disrespected as we have them today. How could you lose the voting rights? We going there, I ain't got time for that. But the lesson is our ancients had it right. Now let's talk about, I'm gonna introduce you now. We're gonna go to the Anunian Theology. This is the one where Ra is the God, okay, the high God in that vicinity, okay? So let me see what we got here. Now it's called the Paute of the Anunian cosmology, aka the Ra edition. And you've seen this before, okay? These are the gods, okay? Hope you can see the picture there. And they tell you about all of them. I'm gonna break it down again for you. And everybody's seen this picture, okay? That says a lot. And if you didn't know what it was, when I get done, you will. See, that's the difference. When you see these pictures, you see things, I'm trying to break it down for you so you can have the visual and then you can put it to the mental, all right? So let's go. Now, Kepri Ratim. The mystery teachings of the Anunian tradition are related to the divinity, high God we call Ra, and his company of god and goddesses they call the Paute, Neteru. And this temple, where he worship him, is all is related temples espouse the teachings of creation Everybody start with a creation story. Okay? Human origins and the path of spiritual enlightenment. The whole goal, like I say, religion, is to get you enlightened, get you to the source, God. Whatever name they call him about, that's the whole purpose of religion. That is what I understand and respect about it. The way they go about it, I don't have to respect that. Why? A lot of it's wrong. Simple. Moving on. That's why. But the whole concept, I understand religion and the purpose of it. I practice one. All right, so let's go. But we talk about human origins of the path lead you to spiritual light. Like Michael say, by any means necessary, by means of the supreme being, in what? In the form of the God we call Ra. Over there, he's going to be tough. Over there, he's going to be Amun. See the difference? None, but they preaching and teaching you how to get to him. That's the difference, and it's all about how you go about that. Now, it tells how Ra emerged from the primeval ocean and how human beings were created from his tears. Different story. When Tough Nu and Shu went out and got lost, he sent the eye to get him. When they came back, he was so happy, elated, he cried, and we became his offspring. That's one of the stories. Okay, moving on. No time for that. But every one of these guys have a story, and it's interesting because you can get into understanding that particular God. That's what they were trying to get you to understand. Mimic them, live like them, be like Christ. Same thing. So I get excited. The gods and goddesses who are his children go to form what? The elements. We did the sun, air, water. We did nature. And the nature of the cosmic forces. That's what they represent. And then that's what maintains what? Nature. Without Maya, we would have no order. That's what she represents. Okay, now let's talk about the Paute. Now, down here, the diagram below shows the tree of Anunian Theology. It shows that the Enoch, they call them the nine, okay, Enoch, or the creative principles in the other group, they got 8. 2 couples, 4 couples of each, male and female. So this one we got 9. We don't break it down like that. We break it down a little different. And again, to get you to the same point. Enlightenment, aka we call it nihas. Know thyself. All right. Now, where we at? Now, the Enoch are the creative principles which are embedded in what? The primordial gods and goddesses of creation. Emanated again from the supreme being. And you start with Kepri Ra Tim. Kepri, when the sun rises. Okay? That's the self-created. That's concept of a new day, new beginning. Ra at noon, format sustainer. Coming down to Ra Tim, he's closing out. He's going into old age. That's the concept of life. Okay, we break it down symbolically all different kinds of ways, and you can use it any way you want. The idea is to understand it and then implement it in your life any way you choose. Okay, so the noon, which represents the primeval waters, which is the hidden essence, and begin what? Sailing the boat of what they call 1,000,000 years. They got numbers for 1,000,000. Okay, they already had everything already figured out for them. Now, which included the company, what they call God and goddesses, on his boat. Symbolically. Why? We on water. How you gonna get around water? Transportation, boat. On land, you need a vehicle. On the water, you need a boat. We are the originators of the concept. Okay, sailing was the concept. And his boat emerged what? The netters, or what they call, what we know as cosmic principles of creation. The netters of the Paute, the Enad, are Kepri, Ra, Atun. That's the Duap. That's the first beginning. Now they start with Shu, air, Tafnut, moisture, moist air, Geb, earth, and Nut is heaven. And I hear people say it's flat earth. It's for flat earth. For you flat earthers, for you flat earth believers, come on, man. What you see? A lady's bending over, crossed over, right? That's the dome. That's called, y'all call it the firmament, I guess now. But the flat earth is Geb. We know the plane is flat, it's balanced, my man. They think they got some knowledge. They think they know something that you don't know. No, I'm familiar with that too. Oh, would you think Earth is flat around? Come on, dog. Stop with the nonsense. See, again, when people who don't know and believe they know, they just run wild with what they believe, even if it's wrong. Moving on. So those kind of people, you don't argue with them. You just make your point. Points don't have to be argued. Moving on or debated. I'm teaching. Let me get back to my lesson. Sorry about that. But when you got Nuke represents heaven, and then from that point on, we come down to human. Asar being the sixth element, six neutral. We know the story, but he represents the spirit. I said his counterpart represents wisdom and intuitive knowledge. These are all parts of your character now. Now you're building you. Your spirit comes in, the gift that God gave you. You have to become wise, have knowledge of self, and fight off your ego, Set, your uncle Set. That represents ego. He had to be controlled. If not, he's going to run you. And Nephthep, which is the twin sister to Aset, and the mate to Set. Het Hadu, which represents the female life force. Tahute represents the mind of God. That's your head. And Mayat, there you go, my girl. She represents order and balance and truth. Represents all these attributes of the Supreme Being as a very stuff of the stratum which makes up creation. All of this comes out of him. Hence, the one comes the many. Shu, Tufnu, Gab, Nuke, Asar, Aset, Set, and that represents the principles. Again, principles that we gave life to so we can study them and understand the mythological characters upon which creation manifests. Because that's true. Without them, we got no creation. So understand that. Then you got Ampu. Y'all know him as Anubis. And he is the son of Asar, and is no part of the Enoch. Why? He's a special part. He represents a feature of intellectual discrimination of the Asarian myth. Sailing signifies the beginning of motion in creation, aka the Big Bang. Motion implies that events occur in the realm of time and space, where we are now, third dimension. And the realm is relatively and movement. Thus, the phenomenal universe comes into existence as a mass of moving essence we call elements. They put it together best they could for their time. It still holds true. Prior to this motion, there was the primeval state of being without any form or without existence in time and space. Once that sun got there, time started. Why? Because now we got 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness. That's the cycle that we've been living in ever since. Let's move on. And we call it the fight for good and evil. Whatever you want, however you want to symbolically put it, but that works for you, it's all the same thing. All right, moving on. Where I'm at down here. Okay. Now, after emerging from the noon, and after Ra created Shu, Tufnu, Gab and Nu were locked into a love embrace. That's the picture you see there. Gab and Nu were like this. When Shu got between them and separated them, he stood on Gab and kept him down, and he raised Tufnu, or he made Nu up. Ain't nothing between heaven and earth now but air. But in the process, while they was in love, Gab had this thing up in there, and that's what they call monuments now. Obelisk, another lesson, but that's the concept. But that picture I showed you, that's Shu separating Nu and Gab. Okay? Now, they'll never be together again. Some rules that you break, you can't refix it. You just got to pay the price. And perfect example, when you break rules that God set, it's eternal. It's forever. Trust me. That's what you got to understand. Now, after emerging, so now he made after he separated Gab and Nu and formed our planet, the heavens. Okay, so in the image below attests that Gab, the earth, rests under Nu, the sky. Gab is flat. Nu is encompassing. She's this way. She's mobile. She's crowning over him. And Ra transverse. You see Ra, the boat transverse outside of Nu, over top of her. Let me show you quick right here. This is what they're explaining to you now. This is the picture. You see the man in the bottom pushing the boat up. That's Nu. Okay. You see the guy laying on the ground. That's Gab. See the lady with the stars all over her body going across him, over him. Okay, that's a star-bedecked heavens. Okay, the heavens is not flat. The earth is. We know that it's balanced. Okay, balanced. Okay, another lesson. But all these things, if you was a real student, you can have understanding of a whole lot of symbology and understand what it really means instead of thinking you know and really don't know. Moving on. Where we at? Wait some time. Okay. Now, where we at? Ra traversed the heavens in his divine boat, and with him, you always see him in the daytime. He's in his boat. He cool. He got Mayat. He got Tahuti. They're not a couple. They're not counterpart. No, Tahuti has a mate, Sachet. So they're not husband and wife or no. They're principles. They stand on their own. And Mayat stands on her own in the discussion. Moving on. You got the boat. And with him, he is Mayat, who what? She establishes order in the vibration of time and space formed by what? The movement of the boat. That creation may what? Exist in an organized and logical manner. That's what she represents. That's why you see me giving her props. When y'all give Amun his at the prayer, I give Maya hers before I start my lessons. Moving on. Now, let's move it here. The concept is that each Neteru listed above here was specific wisdom, has a specific wisdom related to the nature of self. Again, you. Creation and the divine. Following this tradition means what? Studying. Right there. That right there. A lot of people want, but they don't want to study. You can't get results without putting work in. That's called cheating. Oh, just give me a pill. Just give me something to do. I want it like that. It don't work that way. Moving on. And the whole point about this tradition means studying their mythic significance. Studying them, learning them, understanding their wisdom. Why? By experience for yourself. Experience their wisdom teachings and their mythical insight. Why? Together, they will constitute a holistic, teaching, integrating the philosophy of their own tradition and their relationship with what? The other traditions, meaning I don't discriminate nobody's belief system. And these teachings, their understanding and the true application. Right there. The application ought to be learned through what? The process of Shidi. Shidi, again, profound study. Okay, that means you put in your time to learn it. You put your study time in to be proficient in what it is you're trying to learn. I see the clock is running. I'm going to stop the lesson because I got some more to go. But right now, I'm going to let you go. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100 and me 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinker like he passed away. And I will be right back.